Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Love to see you all back for another one. So in this video, guys, I wanted to talk to you about how we marry two topics that I'm very in love with, and again, it has to do with the channel, of course. So finances and tech. And I'm going to talk to you guys today about how I saved myself $1,200 by combining these two, and especially my love for tech and using tech in order to be able to really save me this money. And we'll dive into it in just a second. Before diving into the topic and telling you guys how I saved $1,200, make sure you go ahead and give me a like for the video, as it helps the channel grow. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel while turning on your notifications, so that way you're notified whenever I upload new videos to the channel. You certainly don't want to miss out. And of course, as always, share this with a family member or friend, so that way they can hear how I was able to save $1,200, and more importantly, leverage tech in order to do it. Oh, before I forget, one last item. A couple of weeks ago, we ended up opening up a fund specifically for the victims of Hurricane Milton and also as well Hurricane Helene. Those were two major hurricanes that hit Florida very hard. It was one after the other, and unfortunately there's a lot of people out there that are still struggling with getting either clean water, food. Some still don't even have power back, and it's just been quite devastating in order to see what Mother Nature can do on our daily lives. So as I spoke about in previous videos, we went ahead and opened up a fund where we can go ahead and donate to the American Red Cross. Remember guys, if you can, go ahead and click the link in the description and donate to the American Red Cross. And remember, every single penny is going to go directly to the American Red Cross. This money is going to be dispersed for folks that were impacted by the two hurricanes here in Florida. So remember, make sure you go ahead and check out the link in the description and donate for those who are in need. So a while back, guys, I did a video of how my house is 100% paperless, and we've been paperless for many years. Now that takes a combination of having some tech around in order to accomplish it, plus also as well, you got to get into the habit of scanning documents and pretty much getting rid of stuff. Today was a phenomenal example of why I was so happy that I implemented this process many years ago, and how I used it in order to save $1,200. So I'll go ahead and put a link in the description if you guys are interested on how my house went paperless. Again, it's a really cool video that will walk you through that process, so that way you can take advantage of it as well. So here's the scenario. I had accepted an offer to come move to Florida, and you know, my whole family, we relocated from New Jersey all the way down to Florida. And during that process, we found a nice little home. It was perfect for what we needed at the time. We found it in the October timeframe of 2018. Now, I wasn't gonna start my job till January of 2019. The company that I was working for at the time hired a company to come in and move our whole entire, house. They were packaging up everything, they moved everything. And so during that process, when they were moving stuff, they also paid for us to do a house hunting trip. So again, we got to Florida around the October timeframe, and we found this nice little home, and we wanted to secure it. And it was a rental, of course, because we felt like it was the right time for us to just rent and not buy something immediately, because we didn't know if we were going to stay in Florida long term or not. So after working with the landlord and telling them our situation, we had let the landlord know that we weren't going to be there until December of 2018. And remember, we found the home mid-October. So I had asked the landlord if they would hold the house for us until December 1st. So about a month and a half, of course. And I was trying to see how much I can get away with saying, hey, if you can not charge us, but hold it for us, we would be the best tenants in the world for you, right? We'll take care of your property. But of course, that didn't fly, right? They basically told us that, hey, you know what? We'd love to have you guys, but unfortunately, we can't hold the property that long. So no worries, not a problem. We went ahead and said, okay, look, let's go ahead and pay in order to secure the property, even though we're not going to be there. So at the time, and geez, it's crazy that I'm gonna have to give out some numbers here, but it really talks to you about how crazy inflation is. But at the time, we were going into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single story for $1,200. So of course, $1,200, and if you're renting it midway through the month, of course, it's half, right? 600 bucks. So we came up with the deal and we said, hey, you know what? We'll go ahead and give you $600 in order to secure the home, even though we're not going to be there. You can start the lease in November, even though technically we're still not going to be there, but that's okay. And then on top of that too, I'll go ahead and give you a security deposit. And the security deposit was another 1,200 bucks. Now, fast forward a couple of years later, and here we are today, a couple years later. If you've seen my last video, have realized that I've actually moved, and we made the move in order to support a much bigger place, in order to do more content for you guys and a bunch of other decisions. But the point is that we ended up moving, and it came to the point where we are now turning in the keys. We're doing a walkthrough, and we are doing everything that we need to in order to make sure that we turn stuff back and we close up, business with the old landlord and say thank you for everything. Oh, and one other thing that I forgot to mention, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I just realized it today when we were going through our paperwork and our documentation. So in order to even show even more good faith, because remember, when we were going to rent the home, we weren't going to be there for about a month and a half, right? Because we found it in mid-October. We weren't going to be there in November, and we were going to be there in December. So about a month and a half. I had let the landlord know, and I was saying, hey, you know what? We'll take it, but we won't be here till December. So of course, right, one would find that a little iffy. They would say like, I don't know if we can trust this person or not. So what I had told the landlord, I said, hey, in good faith, we'll also give another security deposit. So 2 security deposits, we'll pay in order to keep, the house out of the market. Here we are, fast forward down to turning in the property. The landlord basically tells me, he says, hey, you guys were phenomenal tenants. You took care of my home. I genuinely love dealing with you guys. So he's ready to sign my security deposit back. And he says, hey, Louis, after looking at all my documentation, I only see here that you guys paid $1,200. And I'll go ahead and write you a check for $1,200. And I said, okay, that's cool. But before you do that, let me just verify first that, we have the correct number, because I don't really recall. And again, I spit out all the numbers and I gave you the situation only because I went through my documentation and found out the right number. But even I didn't remember. I was just like, okay, the $1,200, that sounds about normal, sure. Because we were paying $1,200 at the time, and I didn't remember, of course, that I, in good faith, wanted to give him some additional security, letting him know that, hey, we're good for the money, we want the house, don't rent it out to anybody. So I told him to hold off for a second while I go back into my computer. And guys, I will tell you that within 30 seconds, because I have a phenomenal filing system, and as well, we utilize that paperless household paradigm or way of thinking. And again, you guys absolutely need to do this as well, because that saved me the 1,200 bucks that I literally was about to throw down the drain, because I had forgotten that I had given a $1,200 deposit, extra deposit, for good faith. And so I had gone into my archives. I found, of course, the property. Then I go inside of the directory, and I actually was able to pull up the lease of how much I was paying per month at the time. And then on top of that, in the same directory, I found 2 files that said security deposit number 1 and security deposit number 2. So I go ahead and click on those files, and then I see the official cashier's check that I gave my landlord at the time for the first security deposit of $1,200 bucks. Plus, within the same file too, I saw the $600 that I gave him in order to hold, and I called it a holding fee, in order to hold the property for all of October. I also found in the security deposit number 2 file was a detailed explanation with my bank statement, and the bank statement showed me exactly where the check number was. And in the check number, I saw where I sent the money to the trust itself, and it said $2,400. And why was it $2,400? So the $600 that I told you carried the property over until the 1st of November. Then November to December is $1,200 bucks. And then on top of that, the extra security deposit was $2,400 in total. And when I showed my landlord the documentation, he was like, wow, that is incredible, Louis. Like, I didn't even know that you can pull up stuff like that in 30 seconds. And the reason why I tell you this story, guys, and it's not so much that my landlord is a scumbag. He's a phenomenal guy. Like, this guy is great. The reason why I tell you this story is because he is old school. He doesn't use technology whatsoever. I mean, the guy barely knows how to use a smartphone, and so everything that he does it on a ledger, and he was writing everything. He's a much older gentleman. He's writing stuff down, and he just made a simple mistake, and that simple mistake could have cost me $1,200, but because I had excellent documentation, because I leveraged technology in order to do it, I was able to save that $1,200. This story is a phenomenal way of how I use tech in order to make sure that our lives are in order. And more importantly, when it comes time to do business, you can figure out exactly what happened 5, 6, 7, 8, however many years ago, right? The human brain is not great at remembering stuff from a long time ago, especially all the stuff that we do on a day in, day out basis, right? I can't tell you, I'm not good at memorizing stuff, but what I can tell you is a computer, that is a phenomenal way to store stuff, be able to go back to things, and really see what happened at any given time, because computers can remember more than we can. So I wanted to share the story because technology really helps make life that much easier. And because I was able to leverage it, I was able to save $1,200. I could have lost that $1,200 because I forgot how much I paid the guy, right? And I can't tell you how many people, you know, in that situation would have forgotten, because they don't have the systems and processes that I have in place. And I encourage you guys to go ahead and check out that video and implement it in your household so you can do the same as well. So that'll do it for this video, guys. Hopefully this story has helped you out. Let me know in the comments too, has anyone ever experienced anything like this? If folks don't keep their paperwork or they don't remember, I'm pretty sure they've probably lost a lot of money, but I'm curious to hear if you've experienced it and what your story is. Let me know in the comment section below. So if this video and this story has helped you out, go ahead and give me a like for the video, as it helps the channel grow. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and also as well turn on your notifications. That way you're notified whenever I upload new videos to the channel. And of course, share this with a family member or friend, so that way they can understand how to leverage tech in order to make sure that they save money, just like I saved $1,200 today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.